Conspiracies are sometimes real. The Watergate break-in is a good example of a political conspiracy that actually happened. But thanks to the social media algorithms that push users toward ever more emotional, conspiratorial content, it's probably never been easier for false conspiracy theories to spread. The top conspiracy theories are often very difficult to dislodge. Some may contain grains of truth or feed an emotional need for believers. And hardcore believers are adept at rationalizing away evidence that contradicts their beliefs. Eyewitnesses who dispute the conclusions of even the biggest conspiracy theories are mistaken, according to believers, or part of the conspiracy. The truth, however, is out there. The 9/11 conspiracies. The evidence is overwhelming that the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, were indeed the result of a conspiracy. A conspiracy of Osama bin Laden and a crew of mostly Saudi hijackers. This is too simple for some, though. Conspiracy theorists have a variety of much more complex explanations for what happened at the World Trade Center and Pentagon that day, often involving insider knowledge by President George Bush, Vice President Dick Cheney, and top Bush advisors. Some famous conspiracy theories rely on anti-Semitic tropes, such as the attacks being orchestrated by Israel. Many claim that because jet fuel can't melt steel beams, the Twin Towers must have been brought down by controlled demolition from bombs planted before the planes hit. A 2006 Nova documentary debunked these claims. It is, in fact, quite possible for the columns holding up skyscrapers to fail catastrophically when exposed to fires burning on multiple floors. Other claims are refuted by simple logic. If a hijacked airplane did not crash into the Pentagon, as is often claimed, then where is Flight 77 and its passengers? In many conspiracy theories, bureaucratic incompetence is often mistaken for conspiracy. Our government is so efficient, knowledgeable and capable, so the reasoning goes, that it could not possibly have botched the job so badly in detecting the plot ahead of time or responding to the attacks. Princess Diana's murder. Within hours of Princess Diana's death on August 31, 1997, in a Paris highway tunnel, conspiracy theories swirled. As was the case with the death of John F. Kennedy, the idea that such a beloved and high-profile figure could be killed so suddenly was a shock. This was especially true of Princess Diana. Royalty die of old age, political intrigue, or eating too much rich food. They don't get killed by a common drunk driver. Unlike many conspiracy theories, though, this one had a billionaire promoting it. Mohammed Al-Fayed, the father of Dodi Al-Fayed, who was killed along with Diana. Al-Fayed claims that the accident was in fact an assassination by British intelligence agencies, at the request of the royal family. Al-Fayed's claims were examined and dismissed as baseless by a 2006 inquiry. The following year, at Diana's inquest, the coroner stated that the conspiracy theory advanced by Mohammed Al-Fayed has been minutely examined and shown to be without any substance. On April 7, 2008, the coroner's jury concluded that Diana and Al-Fayed were unlawfully killed due to negligence by their drunken chauffeur and pursuing paparazzi, the New York Times reported. The conspiracy theory was also believed by Prince Harry, who said in January 2023 that he believed she could still be alive for many years after the crash. He told Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes that he thought she may have faked her own death and they would be reunited at some point. Subliminal advertising. Ever been watching a movie and suddenly get the munchies? Or sitting on your sofa watching TV and suddenly get the irresistible urge to buy a new car? If so, you may be the victim of a subliminal advertising conspiracy. Proponents of this conspiracy theory include Wilson Bryan Key, author of Subliminal Seduction, and Vance Packard, author of The Hidden Persuaders, both of whom claimed that subliminal, subconscious messages in advertising were rampant and damaging. Though the books caused a public outcry and led to FCC hearings, much of both books have since been discredited, and several key studies of the effects of subliminal advertising were revealed to have been faked. In the 1980s, concern over subliminal messages spread to bands such as Styx and Judas Priest, with the latter band even being sued in 1990 for allegedly causing a teen's suicide with subliminal messages. The case was dismissed. Subliminal mental processing does exist, and can be tested. But just because a person perceives something, a message or advertisement, for example, subconsciously means very little by itself. There is no inherent benefit of subliminal advertising over regular advertising, any more than there would be in seeing a flash of a commercial instead of the full 20 seconds. Getting a person to see something for a split second is easy. Filmmakers do it all the time. Watch the last few frames in Hitchcock's classic, Psycho. Getting a person to buy or do something based on that split second is another matter entirely. Moon landing hoax. NASA landed astronauts on the moon in 1969. By the 1970s, a bizarre conspiracy emerged that the moon landing never happened. The conspiracy was described in a 1976 self-published book, We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 Billion Swindle, and a 1978 movie, Capricorn 1. Even as late as 2001, there was a Fox documentary, Conspiracy Theory. Did we land on the moon? That gave airtime to the claims that the whole Apollo moon landing program was faked. There are plenty of debunkings of the various moon hoax claims. And then there's the issue of the hundreds of pounds of moon rocks that have been studied around the world and verified as being of extraterrestrial origin. How did NASA get the rocks if not during a moon landing? Why would scientists from around the globe willingly participate in the American Space Agency's hoax? Many astronauts have been offended by the implication that they faked their accomplishments. In 2002, when conspiracy theorist Bart Sibrel confronted Buzz Aldrin and called him a coward and a liar for faking the moon landings, the then 72-year-old punched Sibrel in the jaw. Paul McCartney's death. Paul McCartney is not dead. As of mid-2022, he was still touring, in fact, and he probably still would be if the coronavirus pandemic hadn't cancelled his gigs. He gives interviews, he has a website, he occasionally appears in the tabloids. Pretty good for a guy that some conspiracy theorists think died in 1966. The Paul is dead conspiracy goes something like this. On November 9, 1966, Paul McCartney got into an argument with the other Beatles, stormed out of the studio and was promptly decapitated in a car accident. To cover the whole thing up, the band hired a look-alike and sound-alike. After going through all this trouble, the band then took great pains to drop clues in their album covers and lyrics to hint to the public that something was amiss. For example, on the cover of the Abbey Road album, all four Beatles are photographed striding across a zebra crossing, but only McCartney is barefoot and out of step with the other three. This must mean something, right? Despite public denials by the band, and many public appearances by McCartney, fans couldn't just let it be, and came together to look for more clues. Thanks for watching.